Hey everyone, and welcome to the deep dive. Thanks for flagging that article for us. Lots of good stuff in there about, really boosting your Shopify store's performance. And that's our focus today. Conversion rate optimization, CRO.
Exactly. And this piece we're looking at, building a CRO roadmap from the shopstrategy.com, it really hits on a common pain point, doesn't it? Getting decent traffic, maybe, but just not seeing the sales match up.
Oh yeah, that frustration. And the article points out how easy it is to fall into that trap of just tweaking things randomly, hoping something clicks.
Right. Changing a button color, rewriting a sentence, maybe adding more pop-ups. But effective CRO, as the article lays out, it's much more strategic than that. It's about a systematic approach.
Taking a step back, looking at the whole picture, figuring out how to guide more visitors toward those actions you actually want them to take. And it's not just about the final purchase, is it?
No, absolutely not. That's a key point. Think about email signups or someone creating an account or even just adding an item to their cart. These are all valuable conversions, micro conversions sometimes, that build towards the sale.
Okay, so let's get some baseline numbers here. The article mentions typical Shopify conversion rates, somewhere around 1 to 3%.
Yeah, that's the general ballpark, but it swings quite a bit depending on the industry. Like electronics might hover around 1.5%, whereas health and beauty could be, 3 or even 4%.
So good really depends on your niche, your prices, where your traffic's coming from, all that jazz.
Precisely. And this is why understanding the leverage is so important. Even a seemingly small increase makes a massive difference. Going from 2% to 3%, that sounds like just 1%.
But it's actually a 50% increase in business.
Yeah.
That's huge. And potentially without spending more on ads, which is always good news. This deep dive is powered by Growth Suite. By the way, they help run smart discount campaigns, something we might touch on later. You can test it free on Shopify.
Definitely. So how do we get there? The article maps out a pretty clear workflow. It starts, naturally, with data collection. Got to know where you stand.
Setting that baseline with analytics. Then comes analysis, right? Digging into that data.
Looking for patterns, friction points, opportunities. Where are people dropping off? Why?
Which leads to hypothesis formation, basically educated guesses about why a change might work.
Exactly. Testable ideas. Then you move to implementation, actually making the change on your store.
And this is crucial, testing. You can't just make the change and assume it's better. You need to measure.
Absolutely. A/B testing is key here. And finally, refinement. Learning from the tests, iterating, making things even better. It's a continuous cycle.
A loop. And before you even start that loop, the article stresses setting clear goals. Primary goals like sales, obviously.
But also secondary goals, email signups perhaps, and those micro conversions like add to carts or even just viewing key pages.
And tracking the right metrics beyond just the overall conversion rate. Things like cart abandonment rate. That's a big one.
Huge. Also, average order value, AOV, pages per session. They all paint a fuller picture of what's really happening.
Okay, tools. What do we need in our CRO toolbox? Google Analytics 4, properly set up, seems essential.
Definitely. And don't discount Shopify's own built-in analytics. They offer good e-commerce specific views.
And for seeing how people use the site, the article mentions tools like Hotjar or Lucky Orange.
Yeah, for heat maps, session recordings. Invaluable for understanding user behavior, seeing where people click, scroll, get stuck.
And for the testing part,
Yeah.
A/B testing platforms.
Right, things like Growth Hero, Optimizely, or Google Optimize for running those experiments.
But here's the kicker the article points out. Having the data is one thing, using it effectively is another. It's easy to get overwhelmed.
Totally. Data paralysis is real. The key is turning numbers into actual insights you can act on.
Which brings us to the audit. Before changing anything, you need a thorough checkup, right? A CRO audit.
Exactly, like a health check for your store. Find out what's working, what's not, where the biggest opportunities are.
And first up in that audit is technical performance. Site speed, basically.
And it's critical. The article throws out some stats like nearly 70% of people say speed affects their buying decision.
Wow. And bounce rates jump significantly if pages take just a few seconds too long to load. Lost seconds equals lost customers.
Absolutely. Use Google PageSpeed Insights, the article suggests. Aim for a score of 70 or more if you can, though many struggle to get past 50. It tells you what's slowing you down.
Common culprits being unoptimized images, too many apps, clunky themes.
Those are the big ones. So the checklist is compress images, tiny PNG, or built-in Shopify tools can help. Seriously, this is often low-hanging fruit.
Okay. Trim down unnecessary apps they add code, slow things down. Minimize custom code if possible. Use browser caching.
Right. Caching helps returning visitors load faster. And then mobile. You just can't ignore mobile.
Over 70% of traffic is often mobile, the article says. But a site working on desktop doesn't mean it works well on a phone.
Not at all. Tiny buttons you can't tap, having to scroll sideways, difficult forms. It kills mobile conversion.
So test, test, test. Different devices, different browsers. Crucial.
Okay, next part of the audit. User experience analysis. How easy and, frankly, pleasant is it to use your store?
Starting with navigation, the article warns about the paradox of choice. Too many options can be confusing.
Keep it simple. Can people find products easily? Like in 3 clicks or less? Is the search actually helpful?
And are the categories logical from a customer's viewpoint, not just yours?
Good point. Then product pages. These are the decision points.
That makes a good one. High-quality images, multiple angles, maybe lifestyle shots, videos.
All of that. And descriptions focus on benefits, not just features. How does this solve a problem or improve their life? Make it easy to scan bullet points, subheadings.
And that add to cart button needs to be obvious, right?
Yep.
Instantly visible.
Absolutely. No hunting allowed. Also, anticipate questions or objections and address them right there on the page.
Okay, UX audit also covers checkout, the big drop-off point.
Every extra field, every extra step increases the risk they'll leave.
So questions to ask. Am I asking for stuff I don't really need? Is progress clear? Do I offer enough payment and shipping options?
Exactly. Streamline, streamline, streamline.
Moving on in the audit, content and messaging review. Your value proposition.
Yeah, that fundamental question, why buy from you specifically, needs to be clear, like instantly.
So, audit questions. Is my unique selling point obvious? Am I specific about benefits or just vague? Does the copy actually speak to customer problems and solutions?
And trust signals. Can't overlook those. Reviews, security badges, guarantees, they're essential.
Not just nice to have.
Yeah.
And persuasive elements. The article mentions psychological triggers.
Right. Scarcity, only 3 left. Urgency sale ends tonight. Social proof, 10,000 happy customers. Use them ethically, of course, but they work.
Okay, wow. After that audit, you probably have a long list of things to fix. How do you prioritize?
Good question. You can't tackle it all at once. The article introduces the PIE framework.
PIE. Potential, importance, ease. Okay, break that down.
Potential is how much improvement you think you can get. High traffic pages with low conversion. Big potential there. Maybe a product page is lower traffic than the home page, but if it converts poorly, fixing it has more potential.
Makes sense. Importance is about how critical that page or element is to your actual goals.
Exactly. Checkout page might have less traffic, but it's super important for actually getting the sale.
And ease. How hard is it to actually implement the change?
Yep. Changing button text is easy. Recoding a whole section, much harder, requires more resources, time, maybe money.
So the article suggests scoring each idea, 1 to 10 for P, I, and E, then average it out.
Right. It gives you a data-driven way to rank things instead of just going with your gut.
And that helps identify the high-impact, low-effort stuff, the quick wins.
Exactly. Things like improving copy headlines, descriptions, calls to action, making add-to-cart buttons pop more, simplifying forms like in the checkout.
Those are often the best place to start.
Yeah.
And you have medium-effort things, maybe redesigning a product page layout, improving mobile usability more deeply.
And the long-term strategic stuff, site-wide redesigns, custom features, those come later usually.
So create a plan. The article suggests a tiered approach, 30, 60, 90 days.
Yeah. First 30 days, nail those quick wins, get your measurement tools solid. Days 30, 60, tackle some medium effort, high impact stuff. Days 60, 90, start looking at the bigger strategic pieces.
And be realistic about resources, right? Time, people, budget, internal team versus hiring help.
Absolutely. And crucially, set up how you'll measure success before you make the changes. Define your KPIs, build your dashboards, have regular reviews.
Okay, let's talk implementing high priority strategies. The article focuses on 3 big areas. First, optimizing product pages.
Yeah, huge potential here. Good product pages can convert 3 to 4 times higher than the site average.
So imagery again, high res, multiple angles, lifestyle shots, video, we covered that.
Right.
Descriptions, benefit focused, scannable.
Right. And social proof. Make those reviews super visible, star ratings, testimonials, maybe even things like X people bought this recently.
Builds confidence.
Yeah.
And don't forget cross-selling and upselling on the product page.
Definitely. frequently bought together related items. Good ways to bump up that average order value.
Second big implementation area, streamlining the checkout experience. That scary 70% abandonment rate.
Yeah, lots of room for improvement here. Start with the cart page itself. Show thumbnails, show shipping costs early if you can, estimated delivery, make it easy to change quantities or remove items.
Don't rush them straight to the payment form. Then, the checkout itself. Reduce friction. Guest checkout is a big one.
Huge. Address auto-completion. Fewer form fields, only ask what's essential. Maybe a single-page checkout if it works for your store.
And express checkouts.
Yeah.
Shop Pay, Google Pay, Apple Pay. The article says they can boost conversion significantly.
Yeah, like 1.5x, even 2x sometimes. People love the convenience.
But abandonment still happens. So recovery strategies, exit intent pop-ups, abandoned cart emails.
Absolutely critical. Exit pop-ups offering a small discount perhaps, and automated email sequences maybe offer increasing discounts over a few emails. This is where tools like Growth Suite really shine, helping automate those smart, timely discount offers to recover sales.
Gotcha. Third implementation area, enhancing the mobile shopping experience.
Right. We talked about the traffic being huge, but conversions often lagging. Big gap, big opportunity.
So mobile navigation needs to be simpler. Clean menu, easy search, maybe a sticky header.
Exactly. And think touch. Buttons need to be big enough to tap easily. 44 by 44 pixels is a good minimum guide. Place key buttons where thumbs naturally rest, usually center or bottom.
And mobile checkout needs to be super smooth. Enable those mobile wallets, Apple Pay, Google Pay, huge conversion lift there, minimize typing.
Autofill, saved info, anything to make it faster and easier on that small screen.
Okay, so we've made changes based on our prioritized list. Now we need to know if they actually worked. Testing and measuring.
Yep. CRO without testing is just hoping. You need data.
Which means A/B testing on Shopify. Explain that simply.
You show version A of something, like a headline, to half your visitors, and version B to the other half. Then you see which version leads to more conversions or better metrics.
Simple A/B or more complex tests too.
Yeah, you can do multivariate tests, testing multiple elements at once, or split URL tests, testing completely different page designs.
And setting up the test correctly is vital. Need enough traffic, run it long enough.
Right. Get statistically significant results. Usually need 100, 200 conversions per variation. Run for maybe 1-2 weeks to smooth out daily fluctuations.
Common mistakes to avoid. Testing too much at once, changing other things during the test, ignoring seasonality.
All of those. And failing to segment results. Maybe version B wins overall, but version A was way better for mobile users, for instance. Need to dig deeper.
So analyzing results. Don't just look at the conversion rate lift.
No. Check statistical significance first. Is the result real or just chance? Use a 95% confidence level usually.
Segment the results, like you said, new versus returning visitors, mobile versus desktop.
Exactly. And look beyond just conversion rate to actual business impact. Revenue per visitor, average order value, maybe even customer lifetime value implications.
Sometimes a change might lower conversion slightly, but significantly increase AOV, which could be a net positive.
Precisely. And document everything. What you tested, why, the results, what you learned. Build that knowledge base.
And it's an ongoing thing, right? Iterating and refining.
Absolutely. CRO is never done. You learn from one test, apply those learnings elsewhere if it makes sense.
Update your roadmap based on what's working. Keep the momentum going. Maybe quarterly reviews, like the article suggests.
Maintain that optimization cycle.
Okay, quickly, what about advanced CRO strategies for stores ready to go further? The article mentions personalization.
Yeah, this can be really powerful, showing different content or offers based on user behavior, purchase history, demographics, potential for 20% plus conversion lifts.
So segmenting your audience is the first step. Then using tools the article mentions, Dynamic Yield, Nosto, LimeSpot, to deliver that tailored experience.
Right. Another advanced tactic, utilizing storytelling and emotional triggers.
Connecting with people on an emotional level, not just logically. Crafting that brand story, using scarcity, urgency, social proof effectively.
Because buying decisions are often emotional first, rationalized later.
And optimizing for customer lifetime value, LTV. Thinking beyond the first sale.
Hugely important for long-term profit. Focus on the post-purchase experience, loyalty programs, re-engagement campaigns. Make it easy for happy customers to buy again.
Subscriptions, one-click reordering, reducing friction for repeat business.
Exactly.
Finally, the article talks about building a CRO-focused team and culture.
Yeah, you need the right skills internally. Data analysis, UX, copywriting, technical skills, invest in training, or know when to bring in external help.
Working with external specialists makes sense sometimes, especially for big projects or if you hit a plateau. Look for Shopify-specific experience.
And it needs to be a partnership, not just handing it off. But ultimately, it's about fostering that data-driven optimization culture.
Getting buy-in from leadership, making CRO a regular activity, celebrating wins, and crucially, learning from tests that don't work. Failure is just data.
Well said. Embrace it as learning.
So wrapping this up, the big takeaway really is that a strategic, data-driven approach to CRO isn't optional anymore. It's pretty much essential for sustainable growth on Shopify.
Absolutely. And that article provides a fantastic roadmap for getting started or refining your existing efforts.
Definitely check it out. Okay, so here's a final thought for everyone listening.
Huh.
Based on everything we just discussed, especially those audit points, what's one immediate quick win, something relatively low effort but potentially high impact that you could implement on your own Shopify store, like this week?
Good challenge. Pick one thing and start testing.
Exactly. All right, that brings us to the end of this deep dive, which was powered by Growth Suite. Remember, Growth Suite helps you run those smart discount campaigns on your store. Its AI engine looks at visitor behavior to pop up the right discount code at just the right time, creating urgency and boosting sales without just giving away margin randomly. You can test it out for free on your Shopify store. Thanks for tuning in.